I'm Michael Easley, Vice President of the Guitar Club of Miami, Ohio, and you're watching Great Guitar Records. This week's episode, Palimpsest by Protest the Hero. Let's go. So, ironically, I've never been really all that fond of Protest the Hero. I found their early releases were laced with overly dramatic metalcore stylings and these overstuffed instrumentals that never seemed to mesh together, as well as bolstered by really thin and aimless vocals that seemed very detached from whatever the rest of the instrumentation was doing. Seminal records like Kesey and Fortress I just couldn't vibe with and never really understood all the hype they seemed to get. I just had no patience for these methamphetamine-charged jittery guitar runs and all this emo wailing, and, in general, I just never really saw the appeal of the band. But keeping that in mind, Palimpsest, their newest record, released last year, is easily one of the best progressive metal records I've heard in years. So given that context, let's talk about how incredible this record truly is. Gone are the unfocused and wild guitar pyrotechnics of previous albums relaced with these laser precision riffs designed to induce a degree of whiplash rarely seen in contemporaries in this genre. In addition, these layered strings accent the songs beautifully, drawing attention to these saccharine contrasting melodies that soar and twist through a dense rhythm section, which, although complex, is never incoherent. Slap bass, for instance, pops up prominently on tracks like Reverie, adding a further percussive element to these densely woven tracks. With such tight and uncompromising instrumentals, it's really a monumental feat that Rhodey Walker's vocal performance absolutely steals the show anyway. I really fail to understand how someone can literally blow out their vocal cords to the point where they need surgery and yet come back on the next record sounding better than they ever have before. He sounds so full and massive that I had to check the personnel list to see if it really was the same vocalist. But indeed, his vocal melodies are just simply sublime, with a wonderful interplay between harsh vocal cord shredding screeches and power metal operatics, adding a further variety to this already massively diverse project. I'm afraid I'm a coward, I'm sorry for everything. The record wastes no time grabbing your attention, with opener Migrant Mother being a particularly ambitious track featuring dense orchestration and wild guitar antics. A particularly brutal bridge is bolstered by some excellent double bass on the drums. Follow up The Canary. It keeps with this trend with an intense, arpeggiated, angular riff that grabs the attention with its jagged, articulate flow. And the chorus in this song is particularly moving, I find, with Rhodey Walker truly putting his all into the vocals and lyrics of his own writing. The record deals with themes of American lies and American history, really emphasizing how history can warp perspectives to reproduce a perhaps rose-tinted version of events. This theme is explored particularly on the track From the Sky, which retells the disaster of the Hindenburg, noting the absence of any historical record pointing out the swastikas labeled all over the dirigible when it crashed. The song is also my personal favorite for its incredible riffs, densely layered leads, and a really exploratory, lilting approach to to the guitar, especially at around the 2-minute mark. The midsection of the album contains an unrelenting series of tracks that refuse to let their feet off the gas pedal, whether it's the incredible back half of The Fireside with its incredible shout-along chorus, or the dual-pronged approach of Soliloquy and Reverie, detailing the exploits of some of America's most famous criminals, while examining them through the lens of a twisted and abusive prison system. It also features some of the best riffs on the record, with whiplash-inducing combat between bass and guitar, really putting the pedal to the metal and refusing to let the record have even the slightest lull. The B-side of the record features some incredible tracks as well, whether it's the unbelievably emotional conclusion to Little Snakes with its shredding vocals that completely burst through the saccharine melody of the guitars to produce one of the best moments on the entire record, or Gardenias with its story of sexism in early America and the way in which we refuse to acknowledge those who suffer from mental health issues in the public eye in a way that is fitting to the severity it deserves. It's an incredible song featuring, again, some of Rhodey Walker's best vocal performances to date, as well as a very interesting bass, sort of swirling bass tapping melody around the midpoint as well. The album's closer is one of the most theatrical tracks on the entire record, featuring extensive use of strings and orchestration. It helps really bolster these really addictive guitar melodies, as well as really support Rhodey Walker's incredible vocals and lyrics throughout the piece. I really suggest that anyone with an interest in guitar or songwriting in general check out this record. It's some truly incredible songwriting and some guitar playing that really seems impossible when you first hear it because of how tight, how rhythmically solid it is, and how absolutely incredibly fast these arpeggios are played while retaining a sense of musicality that I think really supports the project as a whole. I really struggle to find anything weak or out of place on the record. Each song stands tall, from the explosive energy of the gangster hits Soliloquy and Reverie to the absolute seething aggression of Gardenias and the melancholic tones of Rivet. All the piano interludes are strong compositions in their own, even though I usually hate piano interludes, and they set the tone for the masterfully crafted pieces that follow. At every turn, there's something exciting, blood-pumping, or stimulating happening. It never bores, and it always delivers. This one's a must-listen, folks.